Hi, Debbie. How are you? I'm going to pause. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to, I almost said Wellness Wednesday. Welcome to the Science of Getting Rich book club. And we are talking about chapter 8 today, thinking in a certain way. This has been a really interesting chapter because of how I took it the very first time that I read it and the continued times after that. It has been phenomenal of how my perception is changing each and every time that I either discuss this with myself or discuss this with somebody else. I'm getting okay, so thinking in a certain way, you can have two people that are doing the same job, the same thing every single day, and even living in the same neighborhood, and one is rich and one is not. And so that tells us that it's not a matter of just doing things. It depends on, you have to do it in a certain way. So does anybody have any ideas? I kind of want to hear somebody else's perception before I go ahead with mine. Does anybody want to start with that?
I always got something to say.
Okay, I think it's important to hear other people's perceptions because that just broadens our thoughts. So go ahead, Nick. Thank you.
It is going to sound weird because I wasn't prepared today. Are we at thinking in a certain way? Is that correct? Awesome. Yeah, so my take on thinking in a certain way is, well, he explains, to form a picture in your mind, keep it as detailed as possible, and all of that. But, he also says in this chapter that it is not enough to just, can you hear me? Awesome. It is not enough to do that because we're, in my opinion, we're only halfway there. We have to take action as well. And I love this book for explaining how to think and act in a certain way. Because, of course, we talk a lot about mindset because it's key. But, we have to do something at some point or take action. So I guess that's what I have to say for now. I always love to share on these calls. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, Nicholas. That's awesome. Debbie, do you have any perception? I mean, how are you seeing this chapter?
Well, when I originally read this chapter and I still today think the same way, I perceive it as manifesting. That's what I think. And I really enjoyed this chapter also.
Okay, manifesting because you are getting that clear vision of what you want. Is that what you mean?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. All right. So do you find yourself manifesting because you are focusing on what it is that you actually want? Do you know what you want, Debbie?
I do.
Okay. Do you want to share with us or?
Well, what I've been manifesting a lot lately about my team. Growing a big team, and it is growing, and I'm very happy about that. And that's what I want. And and I want to become a leader within my group. So yeah,
okay. And
it's
what
going to happen.
If you do, absolutely it can. So if you achieve your goals and start making some decent money, what's your plans to do with the money?
Well, what we want to do is move out of Arizona.
Okay.
It's way too freaking hot here.
Yeah.
I hate it here. So yeah, I want to move out of state and, just buy a bigger house,
Mhm.
maybe go on a cruise, yeah.
Do you have any intentions of using any money that you are to make for contribution back to society?
Well,
And
I'm gonna give to the homeless, definitely, in my church.
is that going to be your charity, the homeless?
Mhm,
Okay.
mhm.
Yeah, that's what I was meaning. I've been actually thinking about this myself too. And we have a 40-acre farm that's absolutely gorgeous. And I'd like to open that up for rescue animals.
Wow.
Because we got a big barn, we got a lot of things that could make that very doable. And I don't know if obviously there's a need for a lot of things, you know what I mean? But I'm sure there's got to be a need for something like that. And I don't know why I choose to do that with our land, but I think that's absolutely what I want to do. So Dustin, we were just, thanks for being here. Hello. And we were just talking about, I wanted other people's perceptions on chapter 8 before I continued too much, thinking in a certain way. Do you want to share with us anything that your perception on the subject?
Yes, how you doing?
Good,
Yeah,
good.
what I got out of this chapter, especially the first part of it, is having a desire. You have to you have to know what you want, and I read it three or four times. I read it over and over again, and I just have to know exactly what I want. I'm probably up in the air about that.
I think a lot of us struggle with that. And
Yeah,
I talked a little bit about this in my Wellness Wednesdays. It's like Robert says, I can help you get whatever it is you want. You just need to know what that is. And then
right.
the biggest thing is being passionate about that, experiencing it in your mind, just like you already achieved it. Act and think and do just like you have experienced every single emotion. And they say that nobody can form that vision for you. It has to be us. It has to be from our already experienced things, because we can't push that thought into the source for him to formulate it without us putting forth that idea. It cannot come from somebody else. Does that make sense? And now, uh, Dustin, did you have more? You can go ahead.
No, that's pretty much what I got out of it so far. It just really stuck out to me that I guess I'm having trouble with that. So,
Okay. Well,
yeah.
and Melody, I'm going to give you a chance too, because you're going to just put that pretty bow on it for us, like you always do. But, um, you know, shoot. Oops, I can't minimize that. What am I doing? Okay. Think back in chapter 6. You guys remember that guy going through his home and finding, or just imagining, walking through and just trying to picture it in your mind, all the things that you want. He didn't ask for much, did he? He asked for, a nice rug there by his little stove heater. He wanted a new stove heater or whatever it was that they called it. And, he was picturing, a nice bay window right there. Walk through and try to envision that. And see, we can't envision things that we have not already done or thought of in our mind. Does that make sense to anybody? Nicholas, you got your hand up. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I just wanted to add something to what Dustin was saying because, and that's something that I believe Melody mentioned that yesterday. It's about, figuring out what we want. What is the thing that you're gonna, visualize to get you going and motivated and excited. The way Melody helped me figure that out was by asking me the question, what is the one thing when you start talking about it, you can't stop? So I just want to add that because that is so powerful.
It is. It is. And think back when you had to go get your driver's license. Do you remember how excited, how your guts felt? You were just, oh my God, on top of the moon. Or what about when you fell in love? So you are experiencing these things in your head, right? And that, when you get to doing that, that's when the emotions kick in. You feel it just like you were, kissing your lover for the first time, or you know what I mean? Just all that excitement and things that you look forward to. And then once you get started on a vision like that, you can escalate from there. Let your imagination go wild. Bring out that little kid in you. Remember when our imagination was so prominent? I mean, do you remember when you were little and you had this invisible friend? Oh my God, my brother just sat on my friend, and crying to mom. It's like, just feeling it like that. Does that make sense? Okay. Melody, did you want to speak, hon? She's in your car.
I'm in my car. Oh my goodness. So growing every day in every single way. It's so good to be here, and thank you for sharing this, Lisa. This I almost catch myself saying, oh, this is my favorite chapter. For every single chapter. Let's just make it very basic. Let me share with you how easy this is to start. We need to have a thought. The man had the desire for a new rug, right? So he said it doesn't need to be, a mansion on a hilltop. It doesn't need to be anything grandiose. Just start with something small, something basic, and prove to yourself that when you hold this mental image in your head, and that's all you do, when you find yourself daydreaming or staring out the window, or in those moments, then, and this is important throughout the day, to put these mental images in our head, hold them there longer each time, feel as if it's already been achieved. It's already in your possession. And this is really, it doesn't have to start with anything big. And a lot of people go, well, I don't know what I want. Well, then Robert said to me, well, what don't you want? Let's start there.
Yeah.
Well, I know I don't want this, and I don't want that, and I don't want this. And then it'll help clarify the things that you do want. So yeah, it's just very, very basic. And again, if you don't know what you want or where you want to contribute, or you just don't have that in you, and contribution can, you don't have to have money to contribute. We give value. You do these calls, right? We give wisdom, we share gifts. So that's what, I apologize, somebody's got their dogs tied up to a tree and I'm in a park. So yeah, it's just about knowing what we want, and starting small, and when we do start to contribute, maybe you don't know where you want to contribute. Lisa, I love your idea of being able to shelter animals. I think that's amazing. How amazing would that be to use that for people to say, well, why are you in network marketing? To be able to well, I've got all this land and I want to make it available for shelter animals. The more people you speak that out loud to, the more people you share that with, you know what's going to happen is, and Robert shared with me, he says, you know, you don't need to, I was helping to coach somebody who wanted to start a nonprofit. And when I was speaking to Robert on how to coach this person, he reminded me, you know, the more people we reach out to, the more people we share our desires with, building the animal shelter on your farm, on your farmland, the more people we share that with. He says, it doesn't mean that you have to come up with all the money or you even need to do all the work to begin that shelter. When you share with people, you're going to come across people that are going to go, I love that. I love that. I would love to start this. I would love to do this with you. I would love to file that, you know, the paperwork and do all the behind the scenes work. So sometimes we're afraid to say, I want to do this. I want to contribute in this way. Lisa, thinking about now you have this animal shelter on your farmland and thinking, okay, well, who's going to feed them? Who's going to care for them? Who's going to pay for the vet bills when they get sick or give birth? Who's going to pick up after them? You know, and then we start to get overwhelmed thinking, I don't have time for that. Well, no, you have people that come in and do this. And when we share our desires, our passions for wanting to do something to contribute somewhere in life, a lot of times people will step up and go, I've got plenty of money. I want to support that. Let me write you a big fat check and hire all of the people to build it, hire all the people to staff it. And it's not another thing or things for you to manage or do. It's about, it's so much bigger than we are, right? It is way bigger than we are. We don't need to do all of those steps. Don't overwhelm ourselves with how big or how small. You know, I was sharing with Chelsea before she was making money, and her passion was Underground Railroad, with the sex trafficking, you know, to stop that. And it's right there in her neighborhood. I said, go there. Go check them out. Go hear some of the stories of the people that have been saved, have been, you know, taken out of that industry. And it's interesting because she was sharing with me that they have this wall when people come out of sex trafficking and they write like one word or just a few words on this wall on how different they believe their life can be now that somebody has actually, you know, made a difference and found them and helped them, gave them a way out. And that's what we want to do, is we want to give people a path, whether it's writing a check or volunteering our time or sharing a handbook. You know, it doesn't matter what that is. So I told her, I said, go there, check them out, see what it's all about, hear those testimonials, take a little time, and either it will draw you closer to that, or you'll find that you're not really that passionate about that anyway. And just start contributing, you know, just in your mind, say, I'm going to give $5 a month. $5 a month. I will tell you, when you start to do that, I don't care how big or small that check is, or how much time or little time that you volunteer, it's more about how you're going to feel and your belief system and when you really get involved with something like this, that drive that happens, that passion just kind of lights on fire, and it will expand your mind to other things. So just because you say, well, I want my team to grow, it needs to be bigger than us. It needs to be more about where we're contributing. And if you look at every single top successful person, Richard Branson, Oprah Winfrey, you know, Tony Robbins, Robert Hollis, you know, all of these people, they have something bigger than them. It's not about how big can they make their bank account.
Mhm.
It's about how can they impact lives. And unless we come up with something like that, that's really going to create that burning desire. And if you think you have a little desire, a little bit of a desire or a little interest in, I don't know, global warming or whatever it is, picking up trash on your beaches, whatever it is, get involved some way, you know, read up on it, find out when they do this, where they find people, volunteer, you know, all of these things. And the more you look into it, the more desire.
Go to the I can go to the Humane Society, volunteer my time, find out, am I really that passionate about it? That's a good way to figure that out.
And at the same time, you're contributing.
Mhm.
And either that desire is going to start burning at a higher temperature, a higher, you know, higher flame, or it's going to be, well, that was nice, but yeah, it might trigger something else in your head. So
for sure. Absolutely. I love that. That's great.
that's what Terry did. That's what Terry did. She'd go volunteer at these goat farms, these sanctuaries, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. We need to get outside of our own little bubbles.
And you know what? If I center myself around like the Humane Society, I probably am going to meet other people that might already have something like this started. And you know what I mean? So it's going to open up doors for sure. Absolutely. You know, and
networking, getting to know people.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Melody. You are awesome. You are just the bomb. You know, and one of the ways I took this chapter too is like when they talk about doing things in a certain way, I think what intentions that you have is thinking in a certain way as well. For instance, like Dustin, he shared that course of Bob Proctor on this book with us. You know what? He got something, he saw value in it, he's sharing it with us. That is doing, in my opinion, that is doing things in that certain way. That's what I think, with no ulterior motives behind it other than to share. You know, when they say you do good for everybody, not just yourself, you know? So Dustin, that was a great display of this chapter. So for that, thank you very much. Okay. You are the man. You rocked it. That was awesome. And I was listening to that again this morning. You know, every different perception, every different idea, it just solidifies that for us. And I think that is what's amazing about this book club, you know, that we can do that. I know Melody and I are a little more chatty than Debbie and Dustin, but you guys are contributing. I appreciate that. Nicholas, you are always wanting to talk. I love that. And I love your insight. So I think what we'll do, does anybody have anything else before I continue? Okay. All right. Oops, I can't do that. Okay, so what I want to do is I'm going to read through those questions with the answer in them, and I'm going to try to reword these at the end. We'll see how that goes. I am going to share my screen though and show you. Do I want the optimize for video clip? Is that what I want? I don't know. Okay.
I don't think so.
No? Can you guys see my?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so if we go down here to, oops, yeah, right here. Okay, so I'm just going to go through and read these. I'm going to put the answers right in there, and then I'm going to reword them at the end. We'll see how that goes, okay? Your part is to intentionally formulate your desire for the things which make for larger life, and to get these desires arranged into a coherent whole, and then to impress the whole desire upon the formless substance, which has the power and the will to bring you what you want. Okay, number one, you must form a clear and definite mental picture of what you want. You cannot transmit an idea unless you have it yourself. Okay. Many people fail to impress the thinking substance because they have a vague concept of what they want to do, have, or become. Okay, so we're not pushing that thinking substance to get started unless we form that clear image first and then express it. Number three, it is not enough that you should have a general desire for wealth to do good, to do good with it. Number four, it's not enough that you should have a wish to travel. Everybody has that desire. When you try to impress your wants upon substance, remember that it must be done by a coherent statement. Okay. Number six, you must know what you want and be definite by a definite statement. Sorry about that. The clear mental picture you must have continually in your mind. All you need is to know that what you want, and to want it badly enough so that it will stay in your thoughts. So if you are really clearly passionate, you desire something so much, you're going to think about it every waking moment, every morning when you wake up, every night when you go to sleep, and do that often throughout the day. Spend as much of your leisure time as you can in contemplating this mental picture of what you want. The methods herein set forth are for people whose desire for riches is strong enough to overcome mental laziness and the love of ease and make them work. The more clear and definite you make your picture, then, and the more you dwell upon it, the stronger your desire will become. Something more is necessary, however, than merely to see the picture clearly. If that is all you do, then you are only a dreamer. Behind your clear vision must be purpose to realize it. Behind this purpose must be an invisible and unwavering faith that the thing is already yours.
That means own it. Own it.
Own it, baby. Own it.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, here we go. Number 15. In the mental realm, enter at once into full enjoyment of the things you want. That means while you're thinking about it, that's when you get that full enjoyment out of it. Feel it with every single emotion that you have. That is going to solidify it for you. Dwell upon your mental picture until it is clear. Whoops, what happened there? Get off of there. Sorry about that. Where was I? Dwell upon your mental picture until it is clear and distinct, and then take mental attitude of ownership toward everything in that picture. Own it like it's yours, baby. Be as thankful for it all the time as you expect to be when it has taken form. Number 18, you do not need to pray repeatedly for the things you want. All you have to do is ask for it once and then believe it like it's already yours. Okay. You do not want to make this impression by repeating strings of words. You make it by holding the vision of unshakable purpose to obtain it, and with steadfast faith that you do attain it. In order to get rich, you do not need a sweet hour of prayer. You need to pray without ceasing. And they say, you want to work like you are being watched all the time during work, not play and not pray, like you are working. What kind of effort are you putting forth? You know what I mean? Okay. Once you have clearly formed your vision, it is well to make an oral statement to the Supreme in reverent prayer, and from the moment you must in mind receive what you ask for. Mind, however, that you do not do this as a mere dreamer and castle builder. Hold to the faith that the imaginary is realized and to the purpose to realize it. Okay.
Lisa, can I add something, because it comes right after this?
Absolutely.
And this is one of the things that I have highlighted so many times. Oh, my camera. Where's my camera? Is that right after that it says, and it reminds me of what I said on my call on Friday, is more like we must take action instead of just saying what we're going to do, right?
Mhm.
Speak it. And the more we speak it, the more we share with friends and family, the more we share with our mentor, or what it is that we're looking to achieve. It says don't keep repeating those prayers over and over and over. However, you do want to keep repeating those mental images over and over and over.
Mhm.
Right? And this is what this means here is, remember that faith and purpose in use of the imagination. So using that imagination, just like it says, don't we don't need to keep repeating our prayers. My God doesn't have Alzheimer's. He doesn't have a problem with his memory. I can ask for something one time and then hold that image of already having it, achieving it in all the time with intention. Like, this is where I intend to go when I daydream, when my mind wanders off, when I'm, in my meditation time, but repeating that mental image always, and speaking it. Don't keep it a secret. Speak it to people, and like I was sharing the other day about Deborah. We were speaking as if her surgery was already done and she was already healed and we were already walking her new puppy, and all of those things. Yeah, we were still waiting on surgery. So, but we were talking about it. We were saying how amazing it is that you healed so quickly and that you're already up on your feet and walking and have your independence back, and speaking things into existence, tying them with the emotions, with our emotions. And this is why it's important when we connect with other people to get them to dream, to get them to feel, the dreamscaping them, getting people to feel something. We need to feel first before we can inspire that in others.
Right.
And it's just so powerful. So powerful. Thank you.
It is. I'm getting so much out of this. I hope everybody else is as well. This has been phenomenal. Katie,
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Nicholas's hand's been up for a while now.
Yeah, and I already asked him once. I don't think he realized that it was up, and I don't think that I can put it down. Oh, here we can.
No, I just didn't realize it was still up.
Yeah. Okay, I got it down. But okay, does anybody else have anything else? Anything they want to add? I think we definitely covered this chapter well. I'm trying to think of what Robert was talking about when he did this chapter. There were some really good points that he made, and I'm lost right now. Where
Lisa,
Yeah.
there's a list of questions that Robert had given me for each chapter that I don't think you have.
I do
I
have
want
them. I do
you
have
do.
them.
Okay, so for
Yeah.
this chapter, and I was going to just share these at the end, or I mean, you know, like at the end of your series,
Mhm.
and just see how many people can actually answer the questions. Because a lot of times we think, oh yeah, I get it, but then when you have to break it down and explain it, like just to a small child, you know,
Yeah.
that's when we learn the most. And then when it came to these questions, I found that I don't understand it as well as I thought I did.
You know what?
So
I could not answer those questions before I have gone through this book probably at least 3 times. At least 3
Yeah.
times before I even had an inkling of how to answer those questions. And we absolutely are going to go through those.
great.
Maybe
That's
we
great.
should do it now. I don't know. But
Well, I can read the questions off.
okay, go.
And that way, whoever watches this, they think they got it. See
Yeah,
if you can answer these questions, because we're going to
absolutely.
come back to these. So the first question is, what are the 3 steps by which you enter into a relationship with the Supreme, your
The 3
higher power?
steps.
Let's see, this is chapter 7. Oh, no. Oh,
8.
wait. We're on chapter, I erased that question.
Okay,
Although we should all know that, right?
we should.
Chapter 8. Okay, there's only like 4 questions. What is the first essential to making an impression on the thinking substance? What is the first essential to making an impression on the thinking substance?
Thought. If that is it, we have to start with a thought.
A thought. Yes. What is the difference between the dreamer and the person who uses imagination scientifically?
I would
And
have.
you know, we don't need to answer these now. I just want
Okay.
you guys.
Oh, come
go
on.
back
I want to.
No, go back to the book and find these answers.
Mhm.
It's important for us all to do this. Give your idea as to what constitutes a scientific use of the imagination. Are any of you stuck yet? And then the last one is, are you working with faith and purpose? Whether you realize it or not, we've all been given a purpose.
Mhm.
We've all been given a purpose. It doesn't matter what industry, career, what we do for a living.
You know,
What matters is that we learn from wise people, and again, make sure you're following somebody who is successful, documented in helping other people.
Mhm.
And if you want to help people, just share what you learned from them. That's all you need to do.
And it's important not to be in a rush to receive everything that you want immediately. Enjoy the journey, enjoy the growth along the way. I am not near as much in a hurry now that I was before. I'm not quite sure I could put my finger on that, but I thought, you know what? Stop and smell the roses. Enjoy what you're gaining from this. Enjoy the growth. I enjoy the person that I'm turning into be, and it's not that I was a bad person or anything like that, but it's just forming a more of a clear picture of what I want to do and what I want to become. So, okay, that's all I
Love
got,
that.
you guys, unless you have something more. Anybody? Well, let's
You're
wrap
amazing.
this
Thank
up.
you for these calls.
Oh,
I have
thank
something.
you. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, not a question or anything to add to the call. I just wanted to thank you for doing this because these calls are amazing. And I wrote in the chat, sometimes it's hard to see your own growth and easier for others to see it. And I can see your growth, Lisa, and I'm so blessed to be connected with you and for you.
You know,
to be
I
doing
have
these
seen
calls.
growth in every single one of us.
You're amazing.
Thank you, Nicholas. That is so sweet. But I have seen growth in every single one of us. And it just goes to show you are showing up, you are taking action, you are participating. So you are doing the things that we need to do. So congratulations. That's amazing. Kudos to each one of you. Thank you for hopping on. Love you guys. This has been awesome. We will see you next week. Okay.